My name is Hagen Heubach, and I'm the Global Vice President and Head of the Industry Business Unit Automotive here at SAP. I'm super delighted and thankful to contribute to the book Business as Unusual with SAP and how industry leaders navigate through industry megatrends. Looking at automotive, for sure, the topic of integrated mobility was quite a challenge and was also quite an important topic for us to position and also to give you the latest insights and feedback how we look as an industry, which is for sure massively under disruption. If we look at the entire automotive ecosystem, there's not one single customer or company which has not been impacted from the megatrends around electromobility, autonomous driving, and transforming the products into digital platforms. If we look actually at all the different segments in the automotive industry, from classical OEMs all the way down from first tier to end tier suppliers, but also on the other side, like national sales companies, dealerships, and even mobility service providers, we all see that these companies are challenged between one fundamental problem. One, they need to run their business, which is very traditional, profitable, and also well established over decades, while at the same time, we need to disrupt our business in the future of sustainable mobility. All of these companies are looking for ways towards driving integrated mobilities, focusing on the different areas. And what we find from SAP, there are always 4 or 5 big strategic priorities where our customers are focusing their investments, also innovating massively and driving for sure IT projects together with us at SAP. Starting at first, customer centricity. Of course, it all starts with the end customers and the touch points, a complete new mobility journey. And looking, for example, at the new experience where OEMs and also new car companies are looking at, the touch points around direct digital sales is one of the biggest topics into there. While at the past we had classical dealerships, national sales companies holding the touch points to the end customers, it's more and more the OEMs and the car manufacturers who are taking back actually this relationship and are driving this through digital platforms with SAP. On the second part, of course, we could say shared mobility and new mobility services is one of the key topics. But we rather say transforming also for automotive and ecosystem into the area of anything as a service, where we say, yes, it's now the future trend and it's now the time to set up a new business model for packaging up the products, the service, and also the software in one established model. And only if I can fulfill here all the capabilities around the invoicing, the shipment, and also the offering in one seamless customer experience, I'm on the right track and driving this forward. Third, connected products, which for us is, of course, the vehicle or the battery for electrification. Both connected cars and products by itself are one of the key elements. Only if I can establish a true digital twin, which offers me a complete 360-degree vehicle insights, I have the true power to set up my new processes for end-to-end battery lifecycle management. On the other side, also the different areas around future sales models. The fourth strategic priorities, it's all around the resilience about supply chains and also manufacturing. We saw that the industry has been disrupted a lot through the last 2-3 years, and everything around productivity gains and cost efficiencies along the complete value chain for automotive is super important to all of our customers and to all players of the automotive ecosystem. Only if I'm able to get this transparency and these insights into my value chain, I can work on resilience topics, I can better planning, or for example, I can drive better quality measurements around the business I'm currently driving for automotive. Last but not least, and this is always, one of the core priorities of an industry, sustainability. How could we not talk about it? The industry is shifting towards really and truly sustainable mobility and is becoming a fourth driver for an entire ecosystem. Transparency for carbon emissions is so important to all of our customers and to all companies. And it's of course not the scope 1, 2 what we're covering, also the scope 3 where we collaborate and combine all the different CO2 emissions to an end-to-end value to define a complete and holistic view for the entire automotive ecosystem. While the topic of transparency and sustainability is more about the efficiency and the regulations, what we need to take care. But it's also all about finding new business models and way how to work differently. Circular economy is one of the key areas where we clearly see new business models for car companies and also to benefit around the models what we can create. Leading back and routing back the components at the end of the life cycle from cars, this is one of the key areas our customers are working on, and we need to define and work now on the processes together how to dismantle actually cars at the end of the life cycle, but also lead the components back into the areas of life cycle. So by saying that and looking all of the strategic priorities, it has become very clear that SAP starts from an industry perspective, from a strong perspective. While we are owning and also producing a lot of software for the core business, it was our job now to help transforming an entire industry in case of the next best practices, but also actually the vertical edge capabilities across the entire value chain. And if we're looking here at the different portfolio from SAP, where we're starting with S/4HANA and the core automotive capabilities from logistics, manufacturing, sales, marketing, aftermarket service, of course, it's also our job now to transform into the next industry cloud capabilities, what we're doing with SAP. And looking there, the topic of e-mobility or electromobility is one of the hottest topics where our teams are working on helping transforming with the industry and also transforming our own business by itself. SAP has a strong commitment to be carbon neutral and also be electric with all our company car fleets by 2025. And looking at our infrastructure for charging, invoicing, and billing, this is something what we tackle by ourselves. By addressing these issues with SAP's e-mobility platform, we're focusing strongly about the charge point management, the energy load management, but also the efficient carbon and neutral emissions, what we can drive over this e-mobility platform. So electromobility with the industry cloud was clearly one of our highlights and innovations what we're looking forward. Last but not least, we're looking around the industry networks. We clearly see all the processes around the automotive ecosystem are getting more and more interoperable and networked enabled. It's not only one process where we say in logistics, production, or in the aftermarket services, we need to share data with our first tiers, second tiers, but also on the other side with the recycling companies, the mobility service providers. There are so many valuable insights across the entire value chain. And it's our job from an IT perspective to help the companies to make use of this data. The biggest problem here is for sure data security, interoperability, and trust. While in the past we see data sharing is happening in the automotive industry, it's now our job to enable an entire industry for secure, safe, and interoperable data sharing. And that's exactly what SAP has put on the headline from our side as a strategy with Catena-X, the industry data ecosystem, what we put together within the entire industry. Companies are coming together here in this ecosystem, discussing about the core use cases and challenges around material traceability, where I can look from a fully assembled car all the way down to the raw material, where I look, for example, at quality management issues holistically from the defect directly down to the raw material. But also for sustainability, if we're looking about a collaborative product carbon footprint management in scope 3, or as well for circular economy, where we have owned dismantling dashboards and second-hand marketplaces to reuse the components and get them back into the life cycle. So with that, I truly can say integrated mobility is one of the mega trends and one of the key topics around all the globe. What we help to contribute is also insights in business strategies, in solutions and way forward from IT perspective. With that, I really like to thank all the contributors and everyone who helped to shaping the chapter of integrated mobility and looking forward to a rich discussion. All the best. Wish you well.